Hi everyone, today, we're exploring the profound depths of self-discovery through the lens of a timeless classic, The Little Prince. We'll be examining this beloved story and its insights about what truly matters in life. In this world, there are people who sleep well, and people who have insomnia. There are rich people and those who are poor. There are people who are sick, and those who are healthy. The world still spins as it always has, full of unfair fates. However, fate will always have a certain fairness that everyone must strive for and experience, which is loneliness and death. People are either not born, or if born, they will surely die, and in the process from life to death, loneliness will always accompany us. And indeed, no one wants to walk alone in an endless, desolate field, but eventually, we must all be naked and lonely by ourselves. Each of us is, at our core, a lonely island. There is a book that is honored to have touched the human heart from ages 9 to 99. That book has been translated into more than 260 languages, published worldwide, and became the second best-selling work in human history. That book is The Little Prince, a timeless classic. It's not just a children's book but a profound fable, conveying meaningful lessons for adults. Today, once again I want to share about this work, because every time I read it, it brings new thoughts. The Little Prince is like a journey of maturity for each of us, always constantly experiencing, constantly contemplating and looking back at ourselves. It is in those moments of looking back that we gradually realize what is truly important in life, the things we should pursue, the things we should let go of, and the things worth returning to. Without looking back, there will never be any maturity. What about you? At this point in your life, what is truly the most important thing to you? The author of The Little Prince once wrote, "One sees clearly only with the heart. What is essential is invisible to the eye." These invisible things are perhaps the values that once existed but have gradually been forgotten by us. And today, let's read this masterpiece again together, using our hearts to reflect on the meaningful things that already exist within us. Okay, let's begin. The eyes only see what is beneficial and should be strived for. In the book, the young pilot's first dream was to become a painter. At 6 years old, he read a book about the Primeval Forest, in which it was written that large pythons swallow their prey without chewing. After that, they cannot move and it takes 6 months to digest. The boy immediately had an idea and drew a picture. When he showed his masterpiece to adults and asked, "Are you scared?" the answer he received was, "A hat is nothing to be afraid of." Clearly, no one understood his picture, they only saw a hat. He felt very disappointed. Then he drew it again clearly to show the elephant in the snake's belly, and when he explained it, the adults told him not to draw such nonsense, but to focus on geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. His dream of becoming a painter also ended from then on. The drawings of children are full of imagination, but the world of adults has been taken over by what is practical and concrete. The eyes of adults only see what is useful and valuable to themselves. Efficiency must come first, and curiosity and imagination, if they do not promote learning, do not turn into assets or status, then they seem to have no value. But is this really true? An American psychologist discovered that a 4-year-old child laughs an average of 300 times a day, while an adult only laughs an average of 17 times a day. The older a person gets, the more depressed they become. In the book, there is a classic saying like this: "All grown-ups were once children, but only a few remember it." Let's recall the days when we were young. How many wonderful ideas were considered whimsical? How many of your interests were considered useless? Under the pressure of reality, we willingly give up our simplicity and innocence, considering adulthood as a ticket to enter the adult world. Gradually, we learn to compromise with the usual norms, changing ourselves from innocent, pure children into worldly and calculating adults. We always think that it is the price to pay to grow up, but in reality, childhood and adulthood are not in contradiction with each other. True maturity is not about becoming clever or good at something, but about maintaining a childlike heart amidst a complicated world. In a book temporarily translated as Breaking Negative Thinking Patterns, Dr. Tracy called the psychological state of keeping a childlike heart in adulthood the happy child mode. Those who live in the happy child mode easily feel love and acceptance, are more imaginative, more easily satisfied, more relaxed, and are also more willing to trust. you will see that those who use their hearts to return to their pure, childlike nature, their eyes can still shine brightly. Even if they have gone through the storms of life, their hearts can still maintain curiosity and purity, even after seeing through the coldness of human affairs. Take a trip on the subway during rush hour in the evening, and you will see that the eyes of many adults are tired and empty, as if covered with a dull grey veil. Nowadays, even children's eyes are gradually losing their inherent sparkle. Thick glasses are pressed against screens, and school bags are heavy with homework from school subjects. If you once believed that achievements, honor, or wealth are goals that guarantee a good life, if you once thought that studying well, making a lot of money, and being successful are the only tickets to happiness, then now, amidst the dark clouds of pressure and boundless ambition, allow yourself to step off that train. Give yourself another ticket to return to the purest and most innocent part of yourself. In that place, you will find true joy, and you can also open the door for yourself to experience a different life. The eyes only see what is spent and needs to be protected to the end. In The Little Prince, perhaps the character that touches the reader most is the wise and insightful fox. Before meeting the little prince, the fox was carefree, never thinking about loving anyone, nor did it think about being influenced by anyone. But when love came, the fox told the little prince, "To me, right now you're just like 100,000 other boys. I don't need anything from you, and you don't need anything from me. To you, I am just a fox like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, we will need each other. To me, you will be the only one in the world. To you, I will be the only one in your world." The fox longed to love and receive love. At first, the little prince gave the fox this love and they were happy together, but when he discovered a garden of roses, he realized that he could not let go of the only rose on his planet, and so he said goodbye to the fox. Even though he had given so much with all his heart, when the prince decided to leave, the fox could still smile gently and let go, keeping only the memory of the golden color of the wheat fields. In our lives, how many of us can let go and stop at the right time? Because the eye often only sees what has been put in, the efforts that have been made, the things that have been lost and cannot be recovered. That is when we fall into the trap of sunk costs, a concept in economics used to refer to resources such as time, money, effort, emotions that we have spent but cannot get back. You will see that we often make this mistake when forcing ourselves to finish what we have started, to continue to commit ourselves, even though we know that there is nothing to gain except exhaustion. Because of the fear of losing what we have invested, we dare not stop. We dare not realize that sometimes letting go is the only way to free ourselves and move further ahead. We also do not understand that true love is not about owning or holding on, but that love is freedom, it's a mutual choice, it's sometimes having to let go at the right time, so that the other person is free and develops on the path they have chosen. Therefore, when you can feel with your heart, before every choice, the wisdom within you will tell you to have the courage to let go of what does not belong to your own journey. The eyes only see the joy of belonging, but the soul can only feel deeply in the quiet moments alone. Inside is, in essence, returning. Loneliness is the nature of our life. On planet B612, the little prince is the only king here. He owns an entire planet, but he is alone. His daily work is to watch the sunrise, clean the baobab trees. He has a small garden all to himself, and he leisurely watches the sun rise and set. He said, "There were days when I watched the sunset 44 times." Hearing this number, many people feel sorry for why some people can be so lonely. Nowadays, if you search for the word loneliness on search engines, there will be countless images of loneliness displayed. Have you ever eaten cake while shedding tears? Sitting on the bus, your back hunched, and your heart empty? Have you ever felt lost when you see the city and all the lights but cannot find a place to belong? We have countless reasons to be lonely, but the feeling of loneliness is very similar in each person. In The Little Prince, the people he met on his journey are, in fact, a reflection of the true nature of each of us. Humans are often afraid of loneliness. The rose cannot bear loneliness, so it tries to make the little prince pay attention to her. The rose is afraid of the wind, so he puts the rose in a cage for protection. For the rose, if the little prince cares, then she won't feel lonely anymore. However, if you keep facing loneliness by constantly seeking things from the outside to fill yourself, then in fact you are only craving to possess and are never really complete. You will only become weak in the face of desire in the dualistic world that humans have created. You will only like the beautiful, dislike the ugly, want light and fear darkness, crave wealth and hate poverty, look for closeness and avoid loneliness. The feeling of loneliness is an unavoidable part of each person's life. As the snake said, even in a crowd, people still feel lonely. When the little prince talked to the lamplighter, he could not understand the meaning of this job. On the lamplighter's planet, there was no one, no means of transportation, so why light the lamp? The lamplighter doesn't need the understanding of others because he knows that his job is not for others, but for the principle that he persistently maintains. This is a great explanation of loneliness. Loneliness is unavoidable, whether we run around, whether we immerse ourselves in the crowds, whether we walk on busy streets, whether we constantly make ourselves intoxicated with entertainment, or whether we always try to get others to care and acknowledge us. Loneliness will always exist, whether you want it or not. The author of 100 Years of Solitude said, "Wherever you are, remember that the past is just illusion. Memories have no return path, spring always passes. Even the most passionate love will ultimately only be a fleeting cloud. Only loneliness is eternal. Loneliness is everywhere, loneliness will be permanent, loneliness is a part of maturity. If you are afraid to be alone, you will never develop the latent power within you. Because the eyes only see happiness when there is companionship, belonging, and recognition, while the heart can feel the power of loneliness." When writing The Little Prince, the author was in exile. At that time, he was completely cut off from his mother and lived without any relatives. The only thing that brought him spiritual comfort was this unfinished book. And in those difficult months, he composed a great work that is loved all over the world. Therefore, if loneliness is unavoidable, will you use your eyes or your heart to face it? Allow your heart to calm down and develop little by little, until one day, when you fully understand the value of loneliness, you will be able to live in peace, no longer controlled by the past or the future. Only when we accept loneliness can we live fully with ourselves. Each person has a star, but the star is inherently silent. It is the different people who have given it different meanings. I hope that when we get lost, we do not rush to conclusions or decisions based solely on what the eyes see and the ears hear, in a world full of narrow judgments. The philosopher Shen once said, "The greatest prison in the world is the human mind." Each of us is imprisoned by our own perceptions. Therefore, in this crowded, dense world, believe that returning to the heart is the only way to light up your own star. Close your eyes to let your soul return to the purity of the child within you, and when faced with the crossroads in life, let wisdom guide you, helping you stop at the right moment. When moving forward, sometimes just calming down and returning to yourself, enjoy the solitude and unique light of the star in your heart. I hope we always remind ourselves on every step that the most important things, the eye cannot see, only the heart can see clearly. Thank you for listening. If you found this video useful, please share it with those who need it. Don't forget to give me a like, click the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to see the latest videos every week. Thank you and see you in the next videos. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to support me and look forward to my next videos. Goodbye and see you soon.